Another day, another video, and today I'm going to show you all of the new features in FL Studio 2025, or at least the things that stand out to me the most. And I'm going to start with this cool little button here called the Loop Starter. I'm going to select dubstep because that's the thing that we make the most here on this channel. So the loop starter is basically that. It takes loops from FL Cloud and this sort of rivaling Splice. So you know how Splice has this SEM creator tool where it takes different samples from Splice. It uses a metadata. So for example, if a loop is tagged for dubstep, then it loads it into the loop starter and it creates a cool little groove using FL Cloud sounds. So if you have a FL Cloud premium subscription, this is going to be really awesome for you guys to start with ideas. You can generate new ideas here pressing this die button. And before you guys get here, this is not using AI, this is just using samples and loops from people's packs in FL Studio Cloud. So if you have FL Cloud, there is free samples as you guys can see here because I don't own FL Cloud. This is just a demo that I'm showing you guys here, and it works super cool. I'd love to see it read your sample pack. So for example, if I have my own dubstep sample packs and I've tagged the samples to dubstep and I gave the correct metadata to my samples, I wish it could read or it could add metadata into the samples so that it can load my personal samples instead of the samples from FL Studio Cloud. Maybe in a future update, if ImageLine is watching this video, it's a really cool idea. But this is not using AI, but what is using AI is the Gopher here. So if I go here and press this notification tab up here, and I go into the Gopher, I can ask it questions, and it's using a custom built AI chatbot by FL Studio. So this isn't ChatGPT, this isn't Gemini, Google's AI. This is built using the data from the Google, from the ImageLine forums and all that to create this really cool AI tool. So if I can ask, if I type here, how can I make a J-pop progression? It's gonna think for a little bit while it gets the answer, and while it thinks, I'm gonna add here a flex because flex has some really cool new sounds here, melodic techno. So I'm gonna select a key here, and let's see what Gopher says here. So it gives me a few little progressions here, ideas. So for example, C, G, A minor, F, and it's giving the example in C major. So let's see how that sounds. So that's a pretty common J-pop progression here. It sounds very pop-ish to me. We can switch a little bit. Japanese jazz sort of progression. So let's see this Japanese jazzy chord progression, how it sounds. Very cool. I can take this with the loop starter now. If I select here, let's select some hip hop. Another cool feature here is in the mixer. What happened to our 125 tracks? Well, now this is possible. we have, I think, up to 500 mixture tracks that we can add here now inside. I need to read the manual to give you guys the correct number. But now we have a whole bunch more tracks that you can add here. So if you guys wanted to go crazy with the tracks, you can now do so by clicking here and mix it so that it's a lot more organized now. So instead of starting with the 100 channels, you start with 50. A lot more reasonable, a lot more tight and organized. I really like that decision by ImageLine. We have a few little more features. So for example, this one in the playlist is going to be super huge. So say I want to reverse this one sample. Like that nice little shot, and I'm gonna cut there. So now, as you guys can see, I don't need to drag the cutting tool, and I can instead select and cut multiple at the same time, which is really awesome. But if I go here and while holding Alt or Control, I can do individual changes here to that sample. And so for example, now I can stretch this one sample out. So it's super cool. Now I can make individual adjustments here without having to make unique and doing all of that workflow. I can just double click while pressing Alt or double click. Yeah, double click while pressing Alt. That's the correct key. And for example, say I want this. Say I want this to be. So now I can, for example, do all sorts of adjustments here. Really cool workflow for those that use loops or vocals or whatever. Now you can do these really cool chops and stuff like that. I think this is gonna be very awesome, especially for vocal chops, because I can stretch and manipulate samples individually without making unique. Really powerful, really awesome stuff now unlocked inside of FL Studio. And there's a few new things. For example, we have now a new plugin. We have a new plugin called Emphasis. It's sort of like a limiter, really cool. If you guys want to figure out more, I don't understand this plugin, but it's really cool. It's for the all plugins bundle, so I only have the producer version. I prefer to use Maximus for hard clipping, and I have Isotope Ozone, which was on sale for like super stupid cheap. I think it was like 90% off when I got it. So this plugin isn't for me, but if you were looking for a limiter, hard limiter stuff, this plugin is really cool for that. So I want to hear, will you guys be switching and you guys think FL Studio is the one DAW for all? Or are you still going to be using Logic, Ableton, or whatever DAW you use? I think that with this update, FL Studio is once again showing it is a solid platform for music producers. And if you feel that you're serious in making music, FL Studio is definitely a serious DAW. So if you already have FL Studio, go and update for free, because as always, FL Studio has lifetime updates. It's one of the reasons that I love ImageLine for what they do. And if you don't have FL Studio, download the trial and test it out and see if you like it. You can download a completely free demo that you can try out and make music. So what are you waiting for? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, this was SoundKitter, and I'll see you in the next one.